It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 137. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, July 13th, 2025. A great day to talk about video games and be alive. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you're doing great out there in the world, wherever and whenever you're listening to this. Thank you so much. The first order of business, however, is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. And then, if you would like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. And then also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. So today's show is going to have three sections as always. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing since I last talked to you on this microphone. The mid section, which I would say is not mid in quality. It's probably the most important section. It's the middle section. It's where I'll tell you about everything going on around the video game world that you need to know. And the third and final section is a break from it all, a break from all the video games, the miscellaneous talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. I usually get into the worldwide world of sports, and that is the case today. So that's all the intro and all the important things I need to tell you. So now let's get down to the show. That's what I'm here for. That's what you're here for. Let's quit fooling around. All right, so what video games have I been playing since I last talked to you? I've been playing a game this weekend because there is an event going on. And this event is taking place in the Game of the Year for the Dep Lewis Show for 2022, and that's Splatoon 3. So there is a Splatfest going on right now in Splatoon 3, and there hasn't been one of those for a while. It's probably been a couple months, and this is just a weekend-long event where you pick a side, you play games, and if you win and if you're successful, it helps the team out, and then at the end of the weekend, it's calculated who is the winner. So it asks a question every time. You got to pick a side, one of three things, and this one's going on right now. So if you're listening in real time, today, you can play this Splatfest, and I like to keep you up to date with these as always, so just listen to the Dep Lewis Show if you don't want to miss a Splatfest. But the question for this one is, which would you rather travel by, land, sea, or air? And I can't believe I wrote down the last team I would ever want to be, but I'm team land over here. I'm a land mammal. I'm a little bit scared of heights. I'm not the biggest person in the flying, and then I guess I could say the same for the sea. I think the sea would be maybe my second. I don't know if I've ever been on a boat on the sea. I've been on a lake and things like that. But I want to let you know what's going on at halftime for the Splatfest. Team C is up, so the boat boys are taking the lead. The boat boys and the boat girls and the boat men and women are out there taking the lead. So Team Land, my team, I think was in second. So I think we're in second about halftime, and I've been putting some work in. Hopefully we're going to come out on top. I think my Splatfest record is about 50-50 at this point, but Splatoon 3 is a wonderful video game. The Splatfest is a great time to play it, and these are just fun things. It just adds another layer of excitement over an already wonderful game. And I've been playing this on the Switch too. It definitely looks better. The open world, the hub area looks better. The frame rate and everything in that area just looks more crisp. It looks more vibrant. It looks more, I don't know if resolute is a word, but the resolution looks better. And it just looks really good. And then the main game does too. So this is a game where there is not an official Nintendo Switch 2 version, but I think whatever upgrades they've done to it do enhance the game in a nice manner. Splatoon 3, having a whole lot of fun with it. So I've been playing that this weekend, and I probably plan to play some more today. I think the Splatfest ends sometime in the afternoon today, so I will report back to you next week who is the winner. Is it going to be Team Land, Team Sea, or Team Air? Which would you rather travel by? So if you've never played a Splatfest, I have a couple more notes here just to explain it better. So cast your vote and then raise your catalog level by battling and working shifts. You'll receive conch shells this way. The number of conch shells collected by your Splatfest team during the sneak peek will impact the final results. So Team Boat was up at halftime. So that's the Splatoon 3 report for this week. A wonderful video game. Please go try out some Splatoon 3. I think it's running better than it ever has on the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, which is very nice. All right, so what else have I been playing? Some more games that have been in the Switch territory. I've been playing some games. I've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Still been playing that, and I've been playing Mario Kart World. So I have completed all the Grand Prix stuff in Mario Kart World, so I've mainly been playing some online stuff in that game and still been having fun with it. So mainly been doing the online races and doing some of the open world stuff over there in World. But I've also gotten back into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe since I've been having so much fun with the Grand Prix, and there are a ton of Grand Prix races to do in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So there are the 50cc, 100, 150, they have a mirror, and then I think there's even a 200cc. So I've completed everything in the 50. I'm getting close to completing everything in the 100. I think maybe I have 5 more cups to go or something like that. But then I'm going to move on to 150, which I think I've had some success in. I don't think I'm an automatic gold on 150, but I think I maybe like 1 out of 2. I don't have to try too many times, I don't think. And then doing the mirror should pretty much be the same. And then the 200s, I'm a little bit scared of that, but hopefully I can get to that at some point. So I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a wonderful game. And I think at this point in time, if you had to recommend one just based on where they stand right now, I think you got to recommend Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just based on the breadth of the content in the package. There are tons of races. I think there's 40, not 48. There's like 24 different cups, maybe more than that. 48 tracks, something like that. I don't know. I didn't look up the numbers, but there's a ton of them. And it's insane. And having all the different modes in the CCs is really helpful too. So I think there's still a lot of merit to playing the old Mario Kart. But the new Mario Kart is fun for the open world stuff. It's fun for the additional people in the online races. The actual Grand Prix races in that game are extremely fun too. Maybe they're going to add some mirror modes or some 200cc down the road, and that would be a nice addition. The one part about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right now too that is extra nice is it has a ton of characters in that. Not that Mario Kart World doesn't have a big roster, and I love all the costumes in that, but the roster in 8 Deluxe is insane. So I've been playing, I have a lot of characters I've been switching through over there. On Mario Kart World, I've still been playing Pauline, Waluigi, and Daisy have probably been my mains. And then over on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's Isabelle, it's Link, it's Diddy Kong, it's Daisy, it's Pauline, and the Inkling Girl, even from Splatoon 3, that wonderful video game. So I'm just having a little bit of a Mario Kart resurgence. Mario Kart World currently is my favorite game of the year for 2025. I don't know if it's going to remain that, but it's going to be a strong contender, and I'm having a whole lot of fun with it. It's been one of my favorite games to boot up lately, and it's been fun to play. It's been fun to do the Grand Prix. I've been playing in some handheld even, and having a wonderful time with the Mario Kart. So that's my Mario Kart, my karting update. And what else have I been playing since I've last talked to you? I've also been playing a little bit of Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, which is Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Game Boy Advance. So this is an enhanced remake of the NES video game Super Mario Bros. 3 and is based on the remake found in Super Mario All-Stars for the SNES. So I found that pretty interesting because when I booted up this game, it does look a little bit different, and I think they've made some positive changes, which I don't think they're completely necessary, but I think in the original Super Mario Bros. 3, there weren't even save states. So this game has save states and everything. I guess they introduced that maybe on All-Stars would be my guess, but this game is extremely fun. I have a ton of nostalgia for this game. This is one of the first video games I've ever played, and I think this is one, as I've been playing through this, I think I'm on the 4th world or something like that. I think this is one of my favorite video games of all time, and if I had to, I'm ever working on my favorite games of all time list. I'm currently, I'm always working on the favorite game of the year list, so these are things I have fun pondering over and will for the continuation of my life, and it'll be interesting to see where these things shake out. So I've made lists from time to time, but this is a game that I think I haven't given enough credence to, and I think is a really high ranking game on my list, just based on the fun platforming, the levels, the music, the difficulty maybe, and the difficulty, it's an appropriate difficulty is kind of what I mean. It's not too hard, it's not too easy. And then I like the basic platforming in it. There's no fancy frills around it. It's basically just you're running and jumping. You have some cool power-ups. I think Tanuki Mario is one of the, or Feather Mario. I guess that's Tanuki. I don't think that's Tanuki, but Feather Mario. One of the best Marios that you can play in Mario, I would say. And just been having a whole lot of fun with this. I've been playing this on a Game Boy Advance, so that's been fun too. It's been a nice change. It's a great form factor on that console. It's nice to hold a really small console. But I've been also having fun playing the Switch and the Switch 2. So I think there's a lot of merit to these handhelds these days, and I think it's pretty incredible what they're doing. And I think I'm really leaning into the handheld side of things more and more as time goes on. So I hope to finish this game. I don't know if I've ever completed it, and if I did, it was back in the day. But I would like to get through this and see credits at some point, and and that is my plan. So this is my current Game Boy Advance game I'm playing right now, and that I like the title Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, basically just Super Mario Brothers 3. All right, the last game I can think of to tell you about that I've been playing is an Xbox 360 game. So I have a plan to do some Xbox 360 rankings, and the first game I've been considering for my rankings is Forza Motorsport 3. So I was playing more of this earlier in the week. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon over the weekend, and then getting into my racing all midweek. But I played some of this earlier in the week and still having fun with this. And one thing I've noticed that playing on a 360, I was thinking my controller had a little bit of stick drift going, but I think the batteries were just low. So I think that's something to be wary of if you are back playing the 360 and you haven't played one in a while. That I guess some of the hardware in the controller can not function properly if it is not, batteried up all the way, if the batteries are low. So just something to take note. I was worried that my controller was, already having some drift problems, and it was not. So I put some fresh batteries in there. I probably need to go buy some more batteries because I've been playing Game Boy Advance, and I've also been playing 360, which requires batteries. And I think I am currently out of them. I have some AAAs. I need some AA's. This is basically my shopping list right here in the middle of the podcast, but I need to buy some damn batteries. I've been playing Forza Motorsport 3. I think it's a phenomenal video game. I think it's going to be a high-ranking game for me in terms of the 360 catalog that I'm going to check out, and I'm having fun with it. So I just want to keep you up to date with that. So that's everything I've been playing this week for the most part. I've been playing Splatoon 3 in the Splatfest that's going on currently right now. So if you're listening in real time, you can jump in there or come back next week, and I'll tell you how that panned out. I've also been playing the Mario Karts, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Mario Kart World, and then I've been playing Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Game Boy Advance, so Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, and then I've been playing some Forza Motorsport 3. So that's everything I've been playing in the past week. This is the year of no direction on the Dep Lewis Show, so I don't have an overall theme of what I'm trying to play. That hasn't resulted in too much completions, too many games to complete for me, but so maybe next year I need to institute some type of direction, and we will see. But my only direction right now is to complete The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And then the next big release I'm looking forward to is actually one that's coming out next week, and I'm going to mention it again in the midsection and tell you a little bit more about it in case you don't know, and that's Donkey Kong Bonanza. So that's actually coming out in the upcoming week. That's going to go to the top of my list of games I want to play. And I'm going to beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm going to beat it before the end of the year, I guess is an okay, that should be an extreme estimate. If I don't beat it by the end of the year, I'm going to revoke my own video gamer card, and you heard it here first. So I'm going to complete that game, and I'm excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza are my plans. Well, not complete Zelda, but Donkey Kong Bonanza is my main plan for the upcoming week. So just be excited for that. So that's everything I've been playing as far as my video gaming, and that is going to wrap up the first section of the show. So thank you for listening to everything I've been playing, but the midsection is going to be all the important video game information, news, rumors, speculation, things you need to know going on. So you're going to hear some lovely break music and come back for the midsection of this show right after this. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 137. This is where I tell you about everything going on around the video game world that you need to know. So the first one I want to tell you about is a video game release that took place in the last week, one of my favorite video game franchises, and something that I actually picked up, and I will tell you a little bit about that. So that game is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. This is the package that includes Tony Hawk 3 and 4 that have been remastered. This released on July 11th, 2025 for PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, that's been fun to say recently on some games, and Microsoft Windows. The developer of this one is Iron Galaxy. Vicarious Visions is actually the developer that did the 1+2 collection, but they have both been published by Activision. So this game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, is $49.99 US, $50. And the back of the box talk on this is get hyped for the legendary franchise to return with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. Everything you loved is back, but revamped with more skaters, new parks, gnarlier tricks, eardrum shattering music, plus a whole lot more. These games, number 3 originally came out in 2001, and number 4 originally came out in 2003. And I definitely say number 3 is my favorite Tony Hawk video game of all time. I actually played through Tony Hawk 3 a bunch, maybe a month ago on the PlayStation 2. I think I completed the campaign maybe 5 times, something like that, maybe even a little bit more, and had an extremely, I had a great time with this, and it even had me thinking, hey, I don't really need to pick up this collection, but I was just too tempted. This is something that I was excited to see with updated visuals and things like that, and I gotta say, I picked this up on the Switch. I picked up a Switch 1 copy. The Switch 2 copy is just a code in a box, so a lot of the people have been complaining about Switch 2 key cards, which actually come with a cart in the box, but it's just a digital key card. There's not the full game on the cart, but Tony Hawk 3+4 on Nintendo Switch 2 is actually just a code in a box. So that's a little bit different. I think a lot of collectors would probably draw the line at wanting that. I think Heck and Steve, I watched him on YouTube, he said it was like a shelf decoration. I mean, that's what it would be for a lot of people. If you like a physical representation of your game on a shelf, I mean, that's cool, but I think the lack of actual cartridge in there is a little bit of a deterrent, and I don't think most people would be excited to buy that. I think people aren't excited to buy the game key cards. I think they're definitely not excited to buy the codes in the box. But, whatever. You can download this game digitally. So I picked up a Switch 1 copy because that comes with a cartridge. I'm assuming there could be an upgrade path at some point in the future. It doesn't look like there is one at this point. And I got to say I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't think it's terrible, but I'm a little bit disappointed with how this game runs and looks on the Switch 1. I only played the 1+2 remake I played it on Xbox Series X and I played it on PlayStation 5, so I've only seen it in its kind of best form. And I think it is a pretty big difference between the two, between the Switch, even the Switch 2. I think the Switch 2 definitely looks, well, I haven't played the Switch 2 version, but I guess I've seen some people on the internet play it, and then I've seen people play the Windows or the Series X or PlayStation 5 versions, and they look very good. So I don't know, I feel a little bit bummed that I got it on Switch 1. I am able to play it in handheld, but I just don't think it looks that great. I don't think it controls as nicely as it does on the other one, and I think maybe that's attributed to the lack of frames. Like the frame rate's such a big difference, and I don't know if it's something I would get used to over time, but it's been a little bit hard getting used to. I think it's a little bit of a first world problem here as well, but just something to heed, a warning to heed out there if you've only played these games on, I guess, like the most advanced hardware, like Series X or PlayStation 5 before. I think maybe be a little bit weary of going back to playing it on Switch 1. I don't think it runs exceptionally well. Seeing the Switch 2 version, maybe I should have bought that, but I think if I want to buy a second version of this, maybe I would get it just on PlayStation 5 or something like that. But I don't know. I'm going to keep playing some more of this. I'm excited to see what they've done with 4. I think a lot of people complaining about 4 as 3 is a traditional Tony Hawk game. You have a couple minutes. You have all these objectives to complete. You try to complete as many of them as you can. You do multiple runs trying to get them all. And then Tony Hawk 4, they kind of instituted an open world-ness to Tony Hawk. So you would walk around, get the objectives from people. You would have, I guess, endless time to go around and do them. So they've changed up the formula on 4 for this remaster and made it more like 3. So it's just the 2-minute runs. Try to get as many objectives as you can and move on. So I think that's going to be disappointing for a lot of people that were wanting to feel the nostalgia of 4. But I think it's a okay change for people who like the formula of 3, but it is a little bit of a concession in there, I think, overall. Maybe if they had both versions, that could have been cool. And I don't know, I think this comes off a little bit lazy from the Switch 1 version, just from looking at how it looks. I don't know if I would call the other versions lazy. I mean, even thinking about having both modes in there for 4 could have been pretty cool, and I don't think would have been too difficult to do. So I don't know. I don't know if they consider that, and I don't know if they would in the future, but just kind of my thought here while I'm talking on this podcast. But 4 is something I have played 4, because watching some people play this, it was bringing back some memories of that. So I played more of that than I remember, but just not as much as 3. So I'm going to play some more of these games, and I will let you know if anything switches on my opinion on the Switch 1 version of this game. But that's my current kind of quick take on this after playing this a little bit over the weekend. All right, so that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 is currently out right now. All right, another game that I mentioned in the first section, I just want to mention this again because this is one of the biggest releases of the year for me, and that's Donkey Kong Bonanza. This is going to release in the upcoming week if you're listening in real time. It comes out on July 17th, 2025, only on the Nintendo Switch 2. So there is a big reason to want a Switch 2 out there, and giving all the millions of people who bought a Switch 2, a really hopefully great video game to play on that thing that's exclusive. So that's very nice. It's $69.99 US. They're touting this as a groundbreaking adventure starring Donkey Kong. Help Donkey Kong make his way through the depths of the underground world. The deeper he goes, the more amazing places he finds. So this is going to quickly skyrocket up to the number 1 video game in my arsenal that I'm trying to play each day. And I am beyond excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza in the upcoming week. So I will most likely be streaming some of this on YouTube next weekend, and definitely talking about it on the podcast next week. So hopefully you're going to be getting some Donkey Kong Bonanza going on in your life too. All right, what other video game news? So that was a couple releases, I guess, that are one released, one upcoming. There's some news from Nintendo about their Nintendo Switch game vouchers. So if you don't know what that is, it's currently a promotion where Nintendo Switch Online member, so you have to be a NSO member. That's one thing. That's the first layer. But you can buy a pair of Nintendo Switch game vouchers and redeem each one for a digital game in the voucher catalog to score savings. So this is basically pay $100, get 2 video games. The game voucher, what they call it, catalog, has most of the big first-party games in there, so it's not a random catalog of games. Most of the games you would want if you're picking up a Switch, so I think that is on the up and up. And you can get 2 digital games, save $20 most likely. So if 2 games are $60, $120, you're paying $100 for the vouchers, and you get 2 of them, and you can get 2 digital games. And they are going to discontinue this, is the news here. So this is not a program they said was going to pass along to the Switch 2, and now they're going to sunset this on the Switch 1 as well. So as of January 30th, 2026. So I think it's nice they're not doing this at the beginning of January. I think it's a nice touch just to give people another final month to interact with this promotion. So as of January 30th, 2026, it will no longer be possible to purchase Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Any vouchers you purchase on or before that date will work exactly as they currently do. Unused vouchers expire 12 months after the date of purchase. So that will be the next point of contention, that hopefully they will do a good job of communicating that to people, that you can still buy these vouchers, I guess, up until January 29th, 2026, and then the countdown is going for 12 months. You don't want to get caught in not redeeming your vouchers, because then you will not get your games. So I just want to make you aware of that. That's been some news from Nintendo in the past week. So Nintendo Switch game vouchers going away after January of next year. So you want to redeem your vouchers if you have them now. It is a good promotion. So if you like buying digital games, it's a good promotion. And go check it out. And you can also keep buying these until January, but you'll just have a year to use them, is the news there. All right, what else do I have for you this week? There's a game that's been having a lot of success, something I don't know too much about. It released earlier in the year. It released in May, so I just want to mention this. I don't think I've talked about this on the show. And that game is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. This released on May 21st, 2025, and it's already sold over 1 million copies. I think 1.2 million was the report. This game's out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2 and 1, and Microsoft Windows. The developer and publisher of this game is Level 5. It is $59.99 US. And the back of the box talk on this game is step into this slow life RPG where you can freely switch between 14 unique jobs, so-called lives, and enjoy a carefree life in a fancy world. Fish, cook, shape the island to your liking, or team up with friends to battle monsters across the vast world. And I think this game has a very young audience. I guess, you could think video games have a young audience in general, but I think some games more so than others. And I think this one's really hitting with the youth. I can't really call myself one of those, so I think it's probably important for me on this show sometimes to highlight these things, just in case people out there are interested in these, or may have a kid themselves, or just have some useful information. Maybe be a little more well-rounded out here in the world, so I'm not just an old guy talking about all my old favorite video games all the time. So Fantasy Life I, it's been selling millions of copies. This game, I don't know. Seeing this game, I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. I would like to play a slow life RPG, but this one does seem a little more simple from what I've heard, from hearing people like podcasters around my age talk about it. So I just don't know completely, but I just kind of want to put it on your radar. It's definitely on my radar at this point too, and want to make you aware of that in case it sounds interesting to you. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, available now. All right, there was a state of play from Sony last week on a specific video game, and I think it was amazing. And I would really recommend going to watch this. I think it was around 12 minutes in length, or maybe 20 minutes, a little bit longer than that. But I really recommend going to watch this. I wasn't originally going to watch this, and I ended up doing it. I think it was only 12 minutes. I ended up watching this, and I think I'm completely sold on this video game and want to give it a shot, and that's Ghost of Yotei. They had a Ghost of Yotei State of Play gameplay deep dive. This game is going to release on October 2nd, 2025, so, a couple months away. And the talk of the State of Play, our State of Play features nearly 20 minutes of Ghost of Yotei gameplay hosted by Sucker Punch's creative directors Jason Connell and Nate Fox. Beyond sharing more about Atsu's quest for vengeance, we're excited to show off her new weapons, new ways to personalize your journey at the edge of Japan, new special modes, and much more. So the back of the box talk on this, before I just tell you what I think about it. Set aside the order of the Edo period, become a different kind of ghost, and witness a bold new story set against the stunning backdrop of northern Japan's rugged landscapes, taking place 300 years after the critically acclaimed Ghost of Tsushima. This standalone experience follows a haunted lone mercenary named Atsu in the 1600s. Thirsty for revenge, she sets out to hunt down those who killed her family many years prior. And I think they killed her family in front of her too, so very brutal, devastating things. Her quest across Ezo will take her to unexplored lands as she seeks out a gang of 6 outlaws. Along the way, she'll encounter far more than she could have wagered for at the journey's outset, help her find unlikely allies, forge lasting bonds, and build a path towards healing and redemption. So everything they showed off in this game looks extremely amazing. The visuals in this game look amazing. The fidelity, the art style is above a 10 out of 10. The art style of this game is beautiful. It's phenomenal. It's enticing. It's captivating. It's all those things. It's a really, really beautiful looking video game, and I think it's definitely taking advantage of where consoles are and the hardware that we have right now. So just a really current gen, next gen, perfect gen looking game. So very, very impressive visually. And I think this thing has completely sold me on it. I don't know if I want to go back and play Tsushima. I played some of that back when it released, but this one I think is just really doing it. I think this is going to be possibly one of those. I don't think this could be a classic video game just from how it's looking. I think the story is cool. I think the main character has a lot of character to her. I think she looks awesome. And I think even the UI in this game looks unique and cool. I think fighting the 6 guys that you're going to be chasing around the world has an interesting arc to it. So there's like kind of a clear path, Breath of the Wild style of what you're doing at the beginning of the game, but there's all these different ways to go do it. There's a spyglass you can look around, so that's a little bit Breath of the Wild like as well. There's modes where you can turn off the HUD. There was a lo-fi mode that's done by the creator of the game or done by the musical creator or something like that, but they have a lo-fi mode that you can put on and it plays lo-fi music while you're exploring. I think it looks like one of the coolest things or coolest ideas I've seen in a long time. It's something I would definitely like to try. So I think I'm completely sold on this video game. I think it looks amazing, and I think this State of Play did an exceptional job. So please go watch this if you have any slight interest, or if you just kind of want to see where I think this just looks like a great explanation. If you had to show if aliens came down or another whatever, if we wanted to show off a video game right now of currently where they're at, I think this looks like a great example of one. And I know I'm talking in mad hyperbole about this, but this was just extremely impressive, and I'm thankful that I went and actually watched this. So Ghost of Yotei State of Play gameplay deep dive. Go check that out now. And they've also announced an exclusive PS5, Ghost of Yotei PS5. I think there's 2 SKUs. I don't know if one is a pro and one's a non-pro, but they look extremely cool. They're coming in October. I guess probably around the release. I'm not completely sure. They have not released price. They have not released dates or pre-orders, but definitely something you want to check into, especially if you don't have a PS5 or if you're into buying exclusive PS5s. I think it's going to be one of the coolest ones out there. So Ghost of Yotei, just extremely cool. Please go check that out. All right, some more news to talk about. What else I got for you? My favorite video game of all time, The Last of Us Part 2. There's a remastered version out right now. Last of Us 2 has been flipped around on a couple platforms. Came out on PS4, been remastered on PS5 already. Well, I guess it came out on PS4, got remastered on PS4, and now it's been remastered on PS5. And now they've made an update to The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. There's a mode in there where you can play the game in chronological order. It's called Chronological Experience, and it's out now, and I think that's extremely cool. This free update lets players experience Ellie and Abby's story chronologically and also includes unlockable skins and trophies. So the back of the box talk on this explains it pretty well. Those who have already played will know its story is told linearly, as Ellie and Abby's motivations, realizations, and emotional stakes unfold across myriad flashbacks and present-day storylines. While this structure is very intentional and core to how our studio wanted Part 2's themes and narratives beats to impact players, we always wonder what it would be like to experience the story chronologically. And now finally we can answer that question. So I think this is extremely cool. I think while playing the game, I think it is extremely useful how they tell the story non-linearly. But I also think it is interesting to look at this story in a different context. And this really does have me wanting to dive back into this possibly. I need to revisit The Last of Us Part 2 at some point in general. And just an extra cool thing. I know a lot of people like to hate on these updates to The Last of Us 2, like saying they're very incremental. We don't need remastering. I think that some of that stuff is true, but the bones of this game, the basis of this video game is phenomenal. And if someone who hasn't played this game was picking it up now, having this option in there is extremely cool and something I would like to see myself at some point. So Last of Us Part 2 Remastered has a chronological experience out now. All right, this game, just a couple more things to tell you this week. These 2 will be kind of quick. This one, I don't know if I have an interest in playing this one myself, but I think a lot of people like this franchise. That's Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl. This game released on November of last year, 2024, for Xbox Series X and S and Microsoft Windows. Developer and publisher GSC Game World. And the announcement here for this game is it's coming to PS5 late 2025. So just want to report another game that was exclusive to the Microsoft Windows side of things is now coming to PS5. So we've been seeing this trend a lot, and I don't think that trend is going to stop stop going on. So I just want to point this out again. So the price is not shown currently for this new version, but Steam price currently is $59.99 for the standard edition. The back of the box talk for Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl on coming to PS5 is the long-awaited sequel to the award-winning franchise. Developed by GSC Game World, experience a one-of-a-kind blend of first-person shooter, immersive sim, and survival horror. Scavenge for gear and resources, hunt for wonders, make hard decisions to survive, and pave the path through the Chornobyl anomalous zone. Bum, bum, bum. So I just wanted to make you aware, if you are a Stalker 2 fan and you've been looking forward to that coming to another platform, it's coming to PlayStation 5 in late 2025. All right, another franchise. You know, one of my favorite things to do in video games, not recently, I guess probably not in my younger years, one of my favorite types of video games were basketball games. And their NBA 2K26 is coming out on September 5th, 2025. So I just want to make you aware of this. They revealed the cover athletes for this new version, and I just wanted to make you aware of that. So NBA 2K26 releases on September 5th, 2025 for PlayStation 5, 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch 2 and 1, and PC via Steam. The standard edition is going to be $69.99 US. There are going to be 4 versions of this game. The SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the standard edition, the recent MVP and recent NBA champion. Angel Reese is going to be on the WNBA edition. Carmelo Anthony is going to be on the Superstar edition, and all 3 will be on the Leave No Doubt edition. So bragging rights are on the line in NBA 2K26. Dominate every possession with immersive technology that directly translate NBA footage into realistic gameplay. Feel more connected to every dribble and crossover, and move with freedom as you unleash dynamic playmaking using all new features. So NBA 2K26 is a fun time. My take on this would be to pick it up later when it goes on sale, because these games definitely go on sale. They don't really have too much of an upgrade between each version, but some people, this is kind of one of their main games they play each year, so I can see wanting to pick it up. But I think if you're just a casual fan, picking these up on sale later down the road or picking up last year's version is a smart move. And I actually did not pick up last year's version. I think I normally end up picking this game up in some form or fashion, but I think last year I haven't touched it at all, so I don't know if that trend will continue with me. But I always get a little bit tempted in there on an NBA 2K sale at some point, so we will see. But that game, the cover athletes have been announced, and I think they look cool, but you know, whatever on the NBA 2K26. And that is everything I have for you in the midsection of the show this week. So that's all the video game news. We talked about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 available now. Donkey Kong Bonanza releasing in the upcoming week. We talked about the end of Nintendo Switch game Vouchers upcoming. We talked about Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, The Ghost of Yotei State of Play gameplay deep dive, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl, and NBA 2K26. So that is all the video game thoughts I have for you this week, but there is one final section of the show. It should be pretty short and sweet. It's the Miscellaneous Talk section, and I'm going to keep you up to date with what's going on with all my favorite sports teams. So, thank you so much for listening to all the video game talk, but, come back and listen to this final section. You get to hear my you get to hear my sports thoughts, and then you get to hear the sign off from me, and you don't want to miss it. So listen to this music and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 137 after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 137, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I want to get into the worldwide world of sports, as always, and tell you what's going on with my favorite teams. So a lot of my teams are just in the offseason. So the Carolina Panthers in the NFL offseason, the only things to really note there, the preseason begins on August 8th. So that's less than a month away. So pretty crazy. And then the regular season begins September 7th at Jacksonville, 1 p.m. for the Carolina Panthers. So I'm excited for the football. And then in the basketball world, I'm a halfway fan of the Charlotte Hornets since I live in North Carolina and can go to some of those games now. Summer League is going on, so all the rookies are getting some action. Some of the young guys out there trying to get some reps, and they can make it up there on the big squad and produce. So that's what's going on in the NBA world right now. The Atlanta Hawks are my favorite team in the NBA. Nothing really to report. Been seeing a little bit of the stats from Summer League. They seem good. The Hornets have some good young guys, and the Hawks drafted some good young guys too. So excited about that. Hopeful for next season, and excited for next season for real. I'm excited to see these teams. I think they're going to be a lot better this upcoming season, especially the Hawks. The Hornets, I'm still a little bit have a subdued expectations, but the Hawks I really think should have a pretty good season in the upcoming season, and I'll be disappointed if they do not. And then my favorite team in the universe, the Atlanta Braves in Major League Baseball, they have one more game today for listening real time. So the the first half of the season is almost over, so it's pretty crazy. So as of last week, the Braves closed it out last Sunday. It was that 11:30 a.m. game against the Orioles, and the Braves lost 1-2. Monday they had an off day. Tuesday they were playing the Oakland Athletics, who I guess are no longer in Oakland. They're playing at some different venue right now. But the Braves lost 1-2 on Tuesday, which is bad. But the Braves won 9-2 on Wednesday, and then the Braves lost 4-5 on Thursday against the A's in 11 innings. So pretty embarrassing there to lose 2 out of 3 to the A's. But the Braves are down there at the bottom of the rankings with the A's, so I guess it kind of makes some sense. And then the Braves have been playing at St. Louis for the weekend. So Friday at the Cards, the Braves won 6-5, and then Saturday at the Cards, the Braves won 7-6. So been getting it back together. They have Ronald hitting in the 3-hole last night. They had Jerks and Profar leading off, Olsen, and then Acuna. So a pretty interesting change there, one I don't hate, and interested to see what they can do, going into the second half. I think this is perfect time for a break, and they have one more game today against the Cards, and then it's going to be the end of the first half of the season. So after the game last night, the Saturday game, so there's one still remaining, but the Braves are sitting at 42-52 right now, so under 500, and they're fourth in the NL East. So one more game to go before the first half of the season, and then we are going to get on to the All-Star break. So next week, there's actually no Monday through Thursday Braves game because the All-Star stuff is going on. I think it's Monday and Tuesday is the All-Star stuff, and then everybody gets a break Wednesday and Thursday, I guess. And then for the weekend, the Braves are going to be in Atlanta versus the Yankees, and it's always fun to watch the Braves play the Yankees, and I will be excited to do so. So I have a little bit of hope for the second half of the season. I think the Braves have to really come out swinging. I don't think they have really much room for error coming into the second half of the season, and I think that's extremely unfortunate, and I really don't see it. I think they've had too many opportunities this first half where they've got a little bit of momentum and then kind of squandered it, and then they've had a patch where it's just been some rough stuff. So I kind of think that's how it's going to go for the second half of the season. I hope they don't make any big sells on the roster of trading anybody away. I wouldn't mind them to make some moves of incoming guys. I don't think the Braves are in bad state for like the upcoming years or their current core of guys, but something in the mix hasn't been working right this season, and I don't know. Hopefully it's just been a little bit snake bit this first half of the season, but we're going to see, and I'm excited for the second half. I'm excited for the final game of the first half of the season, and I'm excited to watch a little bit of the All-Star stuff. I mainly like watching the Home Run Derby more so than the game, but I think it's just nice to have a break as a fan and as the players, and I think the Braves especially need this break in this 2025 season. So go Braves today against the Cards. Maybe get the brooms out, have a sweep of them would be nice, and then move on to the second half. So that's all the sports talk I have for you this week. I knew it was going to be short and sweet, and that's everything I have for you. I talked about the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves, and go Braves. So that's going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section. We're going to wrap up the entire show today. So the Braves actually are playing in an hour and a half, so they're playing a little bit later than normal. It's a 2 p.m. start, so I'm actually recording the podcast a little bit later than I do. It's about 12:30 over here on this Sunday. So I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly, places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, Patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. Thank you so much for listening. This is one of my favorite things to do each week. I have so much fun playing the video games, reading the news, talking about them, thinking about them, and it's a whole lot of fun to come here each week and tell you about what I've been thinking. So just thank you so much for being a listener. I hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world. I hope you're going to be playing some Tony Hawk. I hope you're going to be getting Donkey Kong Bonanza. I hope you're going to be getting a restock of a Switch 2. I hope you hit the lottery. I hope you get a new car. I hope you eat something good. I hope you pet a cute dog. I hope you have a wonderful week out there in the world, and I also hope you come back here or wherever you like to listen next week for another episode of Dep Lewis Show, because that's where I'll be, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.